So La Royale is out, and simultaneously they put out the roadmap for upcoming changes in the game. And without a doubt, I think this is one of the best things I've seen in basically a long time. A lot of good changes, some potentially awful changes that I'll talk about later, but the overall consensus seems to be that this is a great roadmap. Of course, this is still a roadmap, and most of what's on here aren't implemented yet, so we'll have to wait for the actual changes to happen before we start celebrating. But the good thing is, if War Thunder does go back on their promises in this roadmap, you have a web page to screenshot and send back to them. And make sure you do screenshot them because the contents of these posts can be edited at any time, like when they said the Tornado IDS event vehicle would start with AIM-9D missiles in the first iteration of the devlog, then conveniently edited it out when they gave it AIM-9L stock. But anyway, let's take a look at the promised changes that the devs promised to put out, and let's start with the doozy and the central point of it all that sparked this entire revolution, or that led to this roadmap: economics. First is they're increasing reward multipliers and lowering repair costs. They prepared a table for us to exactly see how much each vehicle will change in terms of repair costs. This is great, and this is exactly what we just wanted in the end. There's so many vehicles I love to play in this game but can't because I'm afraid to go broke once I even try. Stuff like the F-86 F2, J7E, and the Conquerors and the Chieftains. For some reason, the table does say they are cutting down on the repair costs for those vehicles. Like for example, the F-86 F2 is going down to 12,000 Silver Lions from 20,000, which I really am all for because 20,000 is just too much for that plane. Even if it really is good in terms of flight performance and capability, 20,000 is too much. The Conquerors and Chieftains are all going down to 6,000 and 7,000 from 11,000, which is great because 11,000 is really preposterous for the kind of vehicles they are in the meta. Another change they're doing about repair costs is calculating them based on averages instead of vehicle statistics. Basically, what they're trying to say is they will calculate repair costs and rewards among the vehicles of the same battle rating rather than the statistics of the vehicle alone, which I think is great. Statistics have always been a bad indicator of how good a vehicle can be because it lacks context on how it achieves those statistics. For example, one can game the statistics by having enough players die in a certain vehicle on purpose. The opposite was the case of the CL-13 Mark IV in the Italian trees some 2 years ago, when a few players banded together to single-handedly demolish teams in the CL-13 Mark IV and got it moved up to 9-0. So yeah, average indicators, which I assume is average income, average kill-death ratio, average win rate, would be the new deciding factors on vehicle repair costs. This is a good change, but it's something that needs to be seen in action because it's still very vague and they've not specified what actual average indicators they mean. So now we move on back to the Gaijin is still a business idea. This time an actual good consideration. Income insurance is what they call it. Basically, if you have a premium account, you can never lose SL in the game unless you commit some team killing. If your repair costs exceed your rewards, the repair bill is essentially zero. So the lowest SL you can get is 0 per match with premium. This I think is fantastic. One of the biggest gripes about the difference in SL and RP economy that I've had is that there's so much SL drains that not only is it possible to have negative SL income per game, it's also possible to have a negative SL balance. Meanwhile, RP is never negative. You can spawn 3 times in a match, do nothing, and still get 100 RP just for dying in that match for the first 1 or 2 minutes. So yeah, this one, being a feature for premium accounts, would be very interesting and a good incentive to get premium time. Thank God I got 1 year of premium last Victory Day sale. The rest of the SL mechanics are stuff like free backups to premium vehicles, which, I have to be really nitpicky, isn't really an SL mechanics change. It's backups with that has nothing to do with Silver Lions. It aims to alleviate the one-lifer syndrome that comes with every new top-tier premium added into the game. I made my feedback very clear on it when the original Q&A showed up, and I told them that free backups for premium vehicles are only good for those matches that they have those backups, and even then, they're not guaranteed to use them because guess what? If you choose not to hop into a backup, you don't get crew lock. So my suggestion was that to give them a permanent single backup, like what they did with the M51 in the Israeli tech tree, so that in the off chance that they do quit, they get crew lock, which is annoying. But and I really think crew lock is a feature that should be removed. But if they do not remove it, we can use it to force them to play the two vehicles, the vehicle and the backup, in that manner. So I know some players will just take the crew lock, but I'd much rather have that than a limited set of backup that lets them optionally do that for a few matches and go back to one lifing when it's gone. Not all of them are always liable to buy backups when they run out. The problem with this kind of approach when it comes to one lifing is that it incentivizes it incentivizes spawning multiple times, yes, but they don't actually get compelled to do so because if you one life, it's not you that takes the punishment. Yeah, sure, you're not getting as much potential research, but when you one life, it's the team that bears the brunt of your loss. So if you're not compelled to play more than one vehicle in that match, then it's really not pointless because you're still gonna one life if you want to. And yeah, like I said, none of them are always liable to buy more backups when they run out. Dynamic repair cost reduction, very nice, I guess. It doesn't punish takeoff crashers and people getting spawn campages, alright. The problem is, it can be exploited for players to just J out if they don't like the situation, so they don't have to pay repair costs. Capture point rewards for those that don't fill up the capture bar completely, very welcome in my book. Another page taken from the Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 system, which is great, so that you can be awarded mission score based on neutralizing or time spent in cap. So, not bad. Free repair if destroyed by an ally. Should have been the order of business ages ago, but at least it's better late than never. A detailed breakdown of your rewards, fantastic. I want to know exactly why I got that much and what actions give out more rewards so I can tailor my gameplay to that style. This is good. I also hope that they let me go back to the post-game screen when I'm already in the hangar. Progression is kind of spicy as well because they have a lot of good changes on the way. One is foldering some vehicles, which was the direct opposite of their plans on the economic changes last month. Here, I support the foldering of vehicles. Yeah, I like to say that, I know, I like to say, oh, I grinded down all 12 megax, but grinding down all 12 megax isn't something someone is supposed to do when they want to get to the top. If you like the folded vehicles, like the Magok 6A, Magok 6 at rank 5, sure, grind them. Your prerogative. But if you just want to get to the Galbatash and the Magok 7C, you shouldn't really have to grind 5 Magoks to get there. It really doesn't help that the Galbatash and Magok 7C cost the same as rank 7 vehicles in the RP requirements. Reducing research costs for rank 6 should include the Magok 6B Galbatash and Magok 7C. So speaking of research costs, they're also reducing research costs for rank 6 and 7 aircraft. That was a really good change and was actually expected when rank 8 was announced. It now won't be as painful grinding upcoming rank 7 aircraft now, though I hope they did do that before they put the Su-25T, now that I grinded it out, all 400,000 RP of it, but no, I'm not complaining, It just will be great to grind rank 7 aircraft in the upcoming updates. For example, if they put something like the Aardvark or the A6 Intruder for the tech tree, it won't be as painful. Another one is skill bonuses. I think I like this one because it's way better than just giving it to the top 3 players. But they gotta include stuff that aren't just kills. Caps and damage assists should also be included, because that's not an indicator of skill if you just get a lot of kills, especially rank 3 when you can do basically that many kills in a Hellcat and P47D without breaking that much of a sweat. So this one I'd like to really talk about, this next one. I enjoy this one. Research bonuses for new nations. If you get to top tier in other nations, you're given an RP bonus for other nations you haven't gotten an equivalent vehicle in for 3 matches. Equivalent means MBT to MBT, SPAA to SPAA, and so on. This is great because it actually incentivizes you to grind other nations and rewards grinding up trees to top tier. Though I wish the bonuses stack for those that have top tier in every nation. Just saying. Now, we go to the stars of the show. Free parts, FPE, and countermeasures. Now, the modules still aren't going away, but they now give stock basic partial repair capability of all modules, not just mobility and tracks. And now this one's good, a single FPE charge. This is great because the original stock repair capability we have doesn't give you a chance to fight back, just to back away quite slowly to the cap and initiate repair. A good change along with a single FPE charge. Though, personally, if you want to ask me, the 2 FPE chargers should be stock, no questions asked, and the module, the FPE module, should allow you to refill them in cap points. There are so many opportunities to get set on fire in the game that 2 is almost always never enough. Especially in those situations where they keep shooting your engine over and over again and just wait till you die of a fire. That's pretty stupid. Aside from that, there's stock countermeasures. Beautiful. Top tier already has stock missiles, so stock countermeasure should be the next logical step. I think it's fair that stock countermeasures only do flares, because IR missiles are more prevalent in all the BRs equipped with missiles compared to radar missiles. Sure, 11.0 to 12.0 is a radar missile meta, but in 8.7 to 10.7, IR missiles are overwhelmingly prevalent compared to a few aircraft with AIM-9Cs, R3Rs, AIM-7Ds, and in some cases, the Mirage 3's R530. My favorite one by far among the changes is this one, this upcoming one, allowing tanks to research helicopters. I love helicopters, but I absolutely hate helicopter PvE. I bought the Israeli Apache to specifically grind down the Israeli helicopter tree, and I just gave up. The rewards are sometimes nice, they accept boosters, but 2 hours in one match just for 100,000 RP doesn't seem to be worth it. I'd rather play so much tank matches to get top tier helicopters, and this is what War Thunder will soon allow. I love it, it's fantastic. For now, when it comes to matchmaking, night battles are temporarily disabled for this update, which is great. In the future, they can be optionally enabled. For this one, all I'm gonna say is that there's really no incentive to having night battles enabled unless War Thunder gives out special rewards for night battles. Because if you ask me, I've just played day battles forever. Night battles are not compelling enough unless you give me like an extra 100% SL and RP boost, then you got me going. UAVs are now available for only 10.7 matches and above, meaning only 9.7 vehicles can have them at the lowest and not the 8.7 vehicles from before. This is great, and I've covered this one in the past video. I like it because Gaijin didn't take into account that 8.7 vehicles might not have the capability to fight back against drones, and they become free kills. Here, the next one is the apology mechanic. Sure? How often will a War Thunder player actually accept a team kill apology and not vindictively reject the apology so he gets saddled with the penalties. I know there are some sportsman-like players that really see the best in people and accept the apology if they see that it's really not blatant, but you know, how often is that? Is that the rule? Is that the norm? Or is that an outlier? We gotta find this thing out before we do the apology team kills. And what about the PE8 bombers or the Lancaster bombers? Those kill like 4 people, 8 people, or 4 or 5 people in one go. If all of those were allies, then you know, it's there's so many things to consider with the apology mechanic that I still can't comment on whether it'll actually be good or not. This one, this next one, they say they will also rework netcode to minimize ghost shells. Hey, if they can do something about that, that would be great because I am of the belief that ping-based problems are something that you just have to live with, and there's only so much you can do without literally asking players to move closer to the server. But again, if they can rework the netcode to work around various pings from various players, hey, that's great. I personally play between 190 to 270 ping, so if they can fix ghost shells, this is a welcome thing for me. My opinion, this is a majority great roadmap, and I look forward to these changes. The first of these to hit are the economic changes, reducing the repair costs and increasing rewards. They say it'll hit around 3 weeks after this major update, so that's something to wait for. Overall, by the end of this year, I can say that if implemented all of these, War Thunder would have changed greatly for the better. Now, while there are changes that still need refinement like the SAM rework, the ATGM rework, we can now start focusing on fixing those gameplay issues instead of piling it on with the economy and the matchmaking issues. Great start, and I'm glad this is how it's starting to turn out. As always, we need to keep at Gaijin so that they don't change their mind, they don't back out on their roadmap, and we need our feedback and our cooperation to implement these roadmaps in the best way possible. Again, thank you for watching. Now, as always, this is the Dr. MD. Godspeed.